One of the strange things about Michelangelo's sculpture of David, to me at least, is how big it is. One of the things the storyteller does is set up contrasts. Goliath is the mighty warrior, the giant Philistine, whereas David is a shepherd. Goliath is a mature adult and David is an adolescent. Goliath comes to the battle in full armor with sword and spear, and David comes dressed as a shepherd, slingshot in hand. Goliath is a giant. David is just a kid. Our mind's eye is supposed to see these contrasts, and I just have trouble seeing David as the little vulnerable one when I was in the presence of this magnificent and really big statue. One of the reasons for the contrast is that they cast the hero of the story as the underdog. It's almost comical at times. Maybe not quite that comical, but it's almost comical at times. When David volunteers to go into battle with Goliath, Saul insists that he puts on the armor and he can barely move. It's too heavy for him. He's a shepherd, not a warrior. And so David goes to battle dressed like a shepherd, with the weapons of a shepherd, the shepherd's staff and his sling and stones. And here's some good advice for us, an aspect of the story. If David had gone into battle dressed as a soldier, like an infantryman, he would have been pummeled. In hand-to-hand combat against a giant, this kid was not going to survive. By being able to engage Goliath at a distance with his sling, David had an advantage. Bringing a sling to this battle was like bringing a gun to a knife fight. If he had stepped into this first adult responsibility trying to be someone who he wasn't, he would have lost. He would have died. But by being himself and bringing his gifts, his abilities, his skills, not the skills that other people thought he needed to have, he prevailed. Another interesting aspect of the story is Goliath's condition. The propaganda machine said he was the biggest and the best. No one could defeat him. But if you look at the story carefully, and particularly if you look at it at a more accurate word-for-word translation, like the New Revised Standard Version, you'll find some interesting things, like he is led into the battlefield by an attendant. And when David descends into the battlefield, Goliath is surprised when he finally sees who's coming and what this person that's coming is carrying with him. He sees David without armor, with a shepherd's staff. In fact, he doesn't even say a shepherd's staff. He says that he sees more than one. Am I a dog that you come to me with sticks? The Hebrew's plural. There's a darn good chance that Goliath had a vision problem. And there's another reminder for us. The giants in our lives often have some kind of myopia or tunnel vision. They don't always see reality. They see just a portion of it, what is important to them. This is particularly true when we are confronting the giants known as the principalities and the powers. I mean, after all, what would be a little kayak against an oil drilling platform in the harbor in Seattle? Well, the kayakers, able to see beyond the profit margins of a big corporation, they were enough to mess up some of the shell's plans. As they like to chant, shell no. Giants often aren't as powerful as they are purported to be. Be yourself. Show up as yourself with the skills that you have. Remember that the giants aren't as powerful as they seem. Remember how the story ends. The little guy wins. Amen.